SpaceX has developed a vehicle that could be a game changer for space travel. The Starship is going to be one of the most highly effective spacecraft ever constructed in the history of the world. It is a fully reusable transport system that is capable of transporting up to 100 people to Mars, the Moon, and the Earth's orbit. It is known as the world's largest rocket, consisting of two stages, a super heavy booster and a Starship. However, during the flight, the stages will have to separate from one another. They are separated by a simple yet incredible method that has abolished all the complexities in typical rocket designs, though people are still confused about how the two-stage separation mechanism will work. Let's figure it out in today's video. Welcome to Elon Musk's story, and today we will talk about everything we know about Starship 20&B4's separation system mechanism. The lower stage, which is also known as Super Heavy, helps the Starship in escaping the Earth's gravitational pull. To generate the required liftoff force, almost 30 Raptors are used by the rocket. On the other hand, the upper stage of Starship uses 6 Raptors. They are a mixture of propulsion and landing. It is designed to travel to far places in space and return back to Earth. All these travels are only possible when the ship is separated from the Super Heavy. Typical rocket discharges the lower stage after delivering payload to space. This is in keeping with the law of physics. However, SpaceX is unbelievably skipping, designing a separation mechanism. A few months back, Elon Musk appeared in an interview where he gave a comprehensive overview and description of the separation system mechanism. According to him, nothing new has been added either to the Super Heavy or Starship to achieve separation. In fact, the Starship will start the separation process with the help of gambling Raptor engines on Super Heavy to rotate itself. Before the main engine cutoff, the Starship will introduce the angular momentum moments. During this time, the whipping between the upper and lower part will be open to that. Due to the spinning motion, both the stages will move apart. The Starship will slide away in a straight line because at the point it will become 5 times heavier than the lower part. Right at that moment, the 6 Raptor engines on the upper part will fire up after the cold gas thrusters are used to resolve the propellant. As soon as the separation is completed, the released Starship will embark on its journey. At the same time, the Super Heavy will start its flipping exercises to return to planet Earth. Isn't it the same process SpaceX has been using to position satellites with the help of its Falcon rockets? This is quite impressive because SpaceX has saved itself from spending a lot of resources, designing and developing a better pusher mechanism that is capable of pushing off a 1,300-ton Starship from the Super Heavy. The Starship has the ability of doing this because of an additional design choice it has made on the ship. The 6 Raptor engines are covered with a skirt that shields the nozzles from being damaged due to the impact of booster separation. You must be wondering, what other methods of rocket separation are there? Just like Starship, the 2 stages of all the typical rockets are separated by thrashing. For example, Russian rockets use hot staging. In this process, the upper stage catches its own engine right at the moment when the coupling mechanism is opened. In some rockets, the upper stage is separated from the lower stage at a large distance before their own rocket is fired into space. This separation process is quite complicated and has some additional risk for mission launch. There is a greater chance of mistakes and getting things wrong. Moreover, multi-staging rockets are way harder to construct. Along with this, there is a possible risk of launch failure, separation failure, or stage collision. Now, the question arises, if there are a lot of risks, then why do maximum rockets have multi-stage and separation systems? The reason is, the law of physics places the maximum velocity achieved by a rocket of given fuel to dry mass ratio. This relation is given by a typical rocket relation. The needed velocity of a heavy suborbital payload needs a wet to dry mass ratio that can be attained by a single staged rocket. The multi-stage rocket achieves this limit by diving velocity into fractions. As each lower stage separates and drops off and the remaining stages fires, the rocket is still traveling near the exhausting speed. The dry mass of each lowering stage consists of propellant in upper stages, and each upper stage lessens its dry mass by eliminating the useless dry mass of the separated lower stages. One more benefit of using multi-stage rockets is that different kinds of rocket engines can be used at each stage. However, the engines of the lower stage are designed to use at atmospheric pressure, and the upper stages use engines suitable for vacuum conditions. One more thing, lower stages need more structure. This is because they have to bear their own weight and of the stages above them. Also, enhancing the structure of each stage lessens the weight of the entire vehicle. While on the contrary, the simple separation mechanism used by Starship is designed to eliminate all the possible risks. SpaceX is already well known for trying to keep away all the possible complications in design when they can get away with it. The team efficiently cuts out anything that is too rigorous. For example, when the grid fins of the Super Heavy were disclosed and a lot of people questioned how the heavy parts would be placed and withdrawn and still maintain sufficient power to push and pull a several hundred tons rocket. Though, SpaceX designed grid fins on the upper part to be placed every time. SpaceX should be appreciated for creating such an incredibly simple design of grid fins instead of making a complex positioning and separation system to control the car-sized grid fins of heavy weight. This mechanism was also revealed by Musk himself during an interview. Due to its simplicity, it's become possible to use them for a completely different purpose, that is catching a booster mid-air with the arm of the launch tower. Musk said in an interview that they wouldn't be using the fins to catch but 2 catch points between the fins. In other words, the booster is not going to be caught by the grid fins. There will be some sort of load points under the grid fins to catch the booster. Plus, the steel grid fins are just for the prototype phase. Another interesting fact about the Starship separation mechanism is that it was not Musk but another employee at SpaceX who presented the idea of changing the design. He convinced Elon to use this technique. The world knows Musk as a self-centered, authoritarian chief engineer who doesn't listen to the ideas given by his team and always forces everyone to follow his way. But the truth is entirely different. He is a person who welcomes ideas, and in SpaceX, ideas can flow both upward and downward. Elon Musk's potential to achieve success in any of his projects is a foundation of his philosophy. He always follows the 5 steps of his success philosophy, and results are witnessed by the world. Let's have a look at them. Step 1. Break the project into requirements and try to make the requirements less dumb. Then, attach the requirements to a person, not a department. In fact, he thinks that trusting a smart person's idea without questioning is quite dangerous. Anyone can be wrong. No matter how sharp you are, you can still be wrong. Step 2. Delete a part of the process that could be done without. Step 3. Simplify after completing step 2 above. Step 4. Fasten the cycle time. Step 5. Automate the process. The practical consequences of following this philosophy have been seen in Musk's past and upcoming projects. Starship is something really unique and has a next generation design. Without a doubt, it will be the most powerful spaceship ever constructed. SpaceX rushes to get the spacecraft ready, and its first test flight will be conducted in the first half of 2022. There we have it, which brings us to the end of today's video. What do you think about Starship 20&B4 separation system mechanism? Do you think separation system mechanism is going to work effectively? Please leave your answers in the comment section below. Do not forget to subscribe to our channel, Elon Musk Story. While you're at it, hit the bell so you don't miss any of our videos, as more exciting ones like this one are on the way. In the next one, I'll see you.